Hello to another video, Poké Trainers! One of the most amazing parts of playing Pokémon is catching Pokémon, throwing our Pokéball into them and seeing how the ball starts to move, and hoping to see how the ball moves 3 times and then our new Pokémon is finally caught, right? This process is not generated randomly, but has a secret formula, like Coca-Cola's one. However, this formula has varied between generations. So in this video I'll explain to you the secret formula used to catch a Pokémon in the first generation. This includes Pokémon Red, Pokémon Blue, Pokémon Green and Pokémon Yellow. So let's start! As you know, there are different balls in the first generation. These balls are Pokéball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Safari Ball and Master Ball. The first one we have to know is that every different kind of ball has a different probability to successfully catch a new Pokémon. So, a Pokéball should be the ball with the worst probability to catch a Pokémon, while a Master Ball is the best option to catch a Pokémon because it always catches the wild Pokémon and never fails. Unless you use the Master Ball to catch a Pokémon from a trainer. So to begin with, when we throw one of these balls, the game does the following. If we use the Master Ball, the Pokémon is caught and the game doesn't use any internal formula. However, if we use one of the other kinds of balls, the game automatically generates a random number depending on the ball we use it. Let's call this random number n. In the case of the Pokéball, the random number will be one between 0 and 255. For the Great Ball, the random number will be one between 0 and 200. And for the Ultra Ball and Safari Ball, the random number will be a number between 0 and 150. A thing I'd like to make clear is that the random value of n will change every time we throw a ball to a Pokémon. For example, we throw a ball and the first time n will be 56, the second time n will be 101, and so on. Besides, the first thing we can say is that an Ultra Ball and a Safari Ball for the game has the same rate of catching. So when we are playing the Safari Zone minigame and we are using a Safari Ball to the wild Pokémon, in the end, to throw a Safari Ball is like using an Ultra Ball on them. Well, returning to the catch of a Pokémon, the wild Pokémon will always be caught if it has the status of asleep or frozen and the value of n is less than 25. In the case that our wild Pokémon is paralyzed, burned or poisoned, the Pokémon will be caught if the random value generated of n is less than 12. So from here we can conclude it's always better to sleep or freeze the wild Pokémon than using the other status effects and using Ultra Balls on it. Otherwise, we can get a value of n which is higher than 25 if a wild Pokémon is asleep or frozen, or higher than 12 if a wild Pokémon is paralyzed, burned or poisoned, and even the wild Pokémon hasn't its status changed. In these cases, if the value of n minus the status threshold is greater than the Pokémon catch rate, the wild Pokémon breaks free. And we have to stop here to explain what the Pokémon catch rate is. Well, every Pokémon has a different catch rate. In the end, a catch rate is a different number given to a Pokémon, giving the greatest numbers to the easiest Pokémon to catch and the lowest numbers to the hardest Pokémon to catch. In the video you are watching this list. Okay, so now let's continue. Imagine our wild Pokémon has a catch rate of 200 without being altered its status, and the random value of n when we throw the Pokéball is less than 200. In these cases, it generates another random value. Let's call it m. m can have a value between 0 and 255. With this, the game starts a formula to calculate if the Pokémon will be caught or not. The formula is the HP maximum multiplied by 255 multiplied by 4. divided by the current HP multiplied by the ball. So in this formula we can find two things. The first one is the importance of the current HP. As you know, in video games it is also recommended to lower the HP of wild Pokémon to be easier to catch. In this point of the formula we can find the importance of lowering the HP. The second thing is the type of ball we use. Here the value of the ball will be 8 if we use a Get Ball, but if we use a Pokeball, an Ultra Ball or a Safari Ball, its value will be 12. With this formula, we'll obtain a number, which we'll call f, and will be between 1 and 255. So if the number resulting from this formula is equal or greater than m, the Pokémon is caught, and if it's less than m, then the Pokémon will break free. So this is a way how the game calculates if a Pokémon will be caught or not in the first generation. However, it is still needed to calculate perhaps one of the most exciting parts when we're catching a Pokémon. The times the ball will shake before breaking free the wild Pokémon. So yes, there's another formula to calculate if the ball will shake once, twice, or 3 times before knowing our Pokémon breaks free. To calculate it is as easy as to calculate the catch rate from the wild Pokémon multiplied by 100 divided by the type of ball we are using. And here the value of the ball used has another number. In this formula, the value of the Pokeball is 255, the value of the Great Ball is 200, and the value of the Ultra Ball and Safari Ball is 150. With this formula, the game gets a number, which we'll call D. If D is equal or greater than 256, then the ball will shake 3 times before the wild Pokémon breaks free. In the case D is less than 256, then the game uses another different formula. Pay attention. The formula is D multiplied F divided by 255 and then plus by S. And here S will have a value of 10 if the Pokémon is asleep or frozen, 5 if a wild Pokémon is paralyzed, poisoned or burned, or 0 if a wild Pokémon doesn't have any of these status. With this formula, we'll get a result, which we'll call X. And with the value of X, the game shows to us the number of times the ball will shake before the wild Pokémon breaks free. In this case, if the value of X is less than 10, then the ball misses the Pokémon completely. If the value of X is less than 30, then the ball will shake once before the wild Pokémon breaks free. If the value of X is less than 70, then the ball will shake twice before the wild Pokémon breaks free, and otherwise the ball will shake 3 times before the wild Pokémon breaks free. And now let's explain this with an example. Imagine we want to catch Pikachu. Pikachu has a catch rate of 190. And without attacking it, we use an Ultra Ball. This Ultra Ball will give a random value n, which in this case this random value is 150. Because n is 150 and this number is less than the catch rate of Pikachu, which is 190, the Pokémon won't break free. Because of this, it's generated another random value, which we call m, and in this example will be 84, and the game starts the formula of f. In this case, Pikachu has 50 HP maximum, so the formula will be 50 of its maximum HP multiplied 255 multiplied 4, divided by 50 of its actual HP multiplied 12, because we used an Ultra Ball. The result is 51,000 divided 600. It's equal to 85. Because the result of f is 85 and 85 is bigger than the value of m, which is 84, Pikachu will break free. If the value of m would be, for example, 86, then we had caught Pikachu. So now let's calculate the time the Pokeball will shake after Pikachu breaks free. Now let's calculate D. The catch rate of Pikachu is 190 multiplied 100 divided by 150, which is the value of the Ultra Ball. So is 19,000 divided 150 is equal to 126.66. In this case, because D isn't equal or greater than 256, the Ultra Ball won't shake 3 times. So now the game uses another formula to calculate X, the times the ball will shake, and the formula is D multiplied F divided by 255, which is 126.66 multiplied 85 divided by 255 is equal to 42.22. Because in this example X is 42.22 and is less than 70, then the ball will shake twice before Pikachu breaks free. And that's all about how this formula works. A final word to mention from this formula used in the first generation is that this is not perfect, and it presents some limitations. To mention some of these, for example, it's supposed that using an Ultra Ball will always be better than using a Great Ball. However, in some cases, in Pokémon with high catch rates, no status conditions, and above 1/2 HP, may guarantee capture using a Great Ball, but fail if we use an Ultra Ball. In fact, Ultra Ball will only perform better on Pokémon with catch rates between 55 and 200 than Great Balls in this generation. As a fun fact, a Pokémon such as Mewtwo has a catch rate of 3. However, if we sleep Mewtwo with its full HP and we use an Ultra Ball on it, because its formula starts determining if a Pokémon is catched or not if it has an status altered, then that means that when we throw an Ultra Ball, which generates a random number between 0 and 150, and n is less than 25, then we'll catch Mewtwo despite having a catch rate of 3. This means that on average we can catch the sleepy Mewtwo in 6 Ultra Balls. As you can see, the first formula used to catch Pokémon in the first generation was a little complex, but not perfect. It can be possible that under certain circumstances a Great Ball works better than an Ultra Ball, or even we can catch Mewtwo, who is supposed to be the best Pokémon, with the same difficulty as catching another easier Pokémon to catch. So, in the second generation, the formula was changing completely. However, that formula wasn't perfect at all and presented some problems. Would you like to discover it? If so, smash the like button if you found this video quite interesting and useful, as well as subscribe. If I see at least 10 likes and 10 subscriptions from this video, I'll make a second part explaining the formulas used in the second generation. Also, feel free to comment your thoughts about this video and see you in the next videos, and have everyone a nice Poké Day!